Hello, fellow foreigners. It's Emily and it's Peter, and we're living in China.
Yeah.
We're not discovering it because it's been here for a while. Today, let's start off by talking about why you should subscribe or why you shouldn't subscribe. Because we know that
both are options.
Yeah, they're both options. Is there any other options?
Turn off your computer and go outside.
Go outside.
But don't go too far outside.
And subscribe to us.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. We take it back. One option. Subscribe.
Only one option.
Don't go outside.
We know that
Remain
outside
indoors.
that there's so many problems. There's always strife. Good times, bad times. We're in some bad times, but they can always suck. That's our motto. Everything always sucks.
It's never that great.
We're just getting by. So yeah, we're just kind of saying that.
Well, our mission is not to keep you informed, not to tell you how to do things, not to give you tips of life proness or otherwise. We have nothing for you but entertainment. Relax, take your mind off things. Think about philosophy. Think about farts.
Arts?
Think about arts. Because there's enough out there. I mean, you might argue there's too much out there. We don't have an opinion. I mean, we have private opinions about the news, but we don't think it's important for you to know them, except in cases, every once in a while we're going to go off on an earnest clip of social justice.
Sometimes you can't help it.
Yeah.
It's a crazy world out there, and we're not hiding anything. But
really, our purpose in life, we feel, is to find the joy in life. And our purpose on YouTube is to share what we think is so hilarious and absurd about life with you, our beloved subscribers.
We come from the news world. We've got years. That was our professional life.
We come from the news world of not news, because I was an entertainment and culture editor.
But we did spend 20, 30 years in the news pen bulletin.
Yeah, I was across the cubicle from the hard news.
So, yeah, but you heard it all day long.
Yeah.
And we had to live it as best as we could, hiding on the other side of the entertainment world.
Yeah.
And we didn't move to China to tell you about news that we don't have any information about. We don't have any information about China. We just live here. And that's what a vlog is.
If the New York Times Bureau was sent home, I don't have better information for you. But I do have jokes.
Right. That's what a vlog is supposed to be, at least in my mind. It's our life.
The vlogs I think are most successful are the ones that are rooted in personal truth.
Right. There's plenty of vlogs out there that are like us, but there's also plenty of vlogs out there that are telling whatever kind of news or whatever kind of opinions they want.
Yeah.
Go find them and then come back to us. Think of us like a shower.
Yeah.
After you get all nice and dirty and lathered up from all that news, and you just need a break. I mean, there's other people like us. I mean, like somebody comes to mind, like Miriam in China. Well, I wonder if maybe she's out in the farmland digging trenches because she's like more prepared than any of us.
Yeah. She's a Chinese prepper.
Yeah. She's got all like a Holocaust kind of mindset of we'll build the compound but there's some of us that just really
keep it light.
Some of us that just want to like entertain, make some songs, make some jokes, tell some stories about where we are. That's why we moved to China. We're tired. I'm old. Give me a break, man. These are some stories of lighthearted fun.
Yeah.
I mean, if we are the band on the Titanic, I mean, this keyboard is not here by accident.
Yeah. So if that appeals to you, if you feel like you need to take a break with us, subscribe, because we got something like every day these days. It doesn't look like that's going to slow down anytime soon.
Something's always happening, and we just gotta keep busy.
Yeah. The other thing we would like to ask of you, the viewers like you, is to give us a little word of mouth. But also, like, if you know a friend who would like what we're doing, tell them, because that means more than us going on Reddit and saying like, look, we made another video.
Yeah, it's not just hitting the share button. It's like when you're on the phone, like with somebody back home or wherever you are, whatever you do, like tell them like, hey, you know what? There's these people. If you're tired of hearing about all the panic and strife, and you just want to hear a funny song,
someone who needs to self-quarantine even though things are opening up, and they're bored, they've run out of TV to watch, tell them about us, because we're not a channel with wide appeal. We're
struggling to find our audience.
Yeah, but I think, that's a good thing. Because
we're also discerning about our audience.
We're discerning about our audience, and our audience is discerning about us. So we do need, I think word of mouth might be the key to finding those discerning
those of you
weirdos
who are out there and like-minded that are already here and listening to us and enjoying what we're doing, just tell your friends.
Yeah.
So share that out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed.
Have a heartfelt conversation in which you stare into someone else's eyes and say, I think you should check out Uncle Foreigner.
Hit that like button, because that also helps. That tells YouTube that you're digging us, and there's other people out there that might be digging us.
That we have interactions.
Yeah, and hit that bell to make sure that we're doing some more the premieres lately. So
we've had kind of lively discussions.
That's exciting. We haven't done it in the past because whenever we did it, we didn't have enough people to watch. So
so now people watch. Yay!
Hello, thank you all for watching, and we're trying to be more involved with our community.
Yeah.
Because it's a small community, so it's not actually that hard. We're not like getting hit with a deluge of like 700 comments that we gotta 5 or 6 people is cool.
Yeah.
We'd like it to be more, and we'd like you to be talking with each other. Some of our more seasoned commenters know that that's where a lot of the fun happens, is down below in the comments.
Yeah.
You guys talk to each other. We're here just to light the fire and get you going.
Yeah. Operators are standing by.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, so what on the world of fun and excitement that we have today? Stories from your life, vlogging.
I've been thinking about this recently because we just made another big Taobao order. And we had, shopping in real life versus shopping online. Shopping online is so much easier, but part of like the fun of living in a city, I think, is like wandering around and seeing what you see.
Yeah.
And like the other day I walked home a different way than normal, and I saw like a watch repair shop. And it reminded me of like when we first got here, we have to live in a city because we're city people, but also I think cities are the most friendly to people foreigners, I guess. Like, and not just like foreigners in China, but all cities, people from outside that city. You can navigate a city just by walking around and looking around. Like, I remember when I moved to New York City. I mean, I speak English, and so does most of New York, but it still was like, how do I find a grocery store? Well, walk around until you do. And that, like, I like that usability of cities a lot.
And people are always proud of their cities.
Yeah.
It's funny to go from New York City, like I grew up wanting to move to the New York City myself for the longest time, and when I finally got there, as soon as like you're there long enough to get a feel for what's going on, you feel like you can like maybe give some directions, then you like get swept into the wave of the local, and you're like, all right, I'm here now. Hey, you look like you're having are you new? Are you like, I'll take you on the subway or something.
Yeah.
Careful, you don't get kidnapped. But but every city has this kind of like love for their own city of like, I want to show you where it is. Look, I got 5 minutes before lunch. I'll take you down there.
Yeah, and like the joy of finding a new restaurant because you've been wandering around, or
That happens still to
a crazy map shop.
Almost 9 years later here in Luzhou, we meet people every day, even though tons of people know who we are.
Yeah, so I sometimes feel a little bit guilty, like we'll just go on Taobao. Like I bought a bunch of plants on Taobao, and I'm gonna buy a bunch of dirt on Taobao, even though like there is a flower district downtown, but it is also like kind of a pain in the butt to get there. And if I order it online, they will bring dirt to my front door, which sounds so ridiculous.
Dirt to the apartment. Talk about like living in the modern days.
Yeah. And like I ordered way too many seeds for like, we're gonna have a pretty big apartment garden. I'll show you some pictures when it all starts growing. But
well, we just also
I got like really excited about it.
In the same way that we met some new friends who are 6 months into, give or take, here in Luzhou. And we've had a Walmart for what, like a year now or something like that?
I guess, yeah.
We've never been to it.
It's on the others. It's in Longmatan, which is like the other,
the
other river.
Yeah, when we say the other side of town, it's like 10 minutes away.
You have to go over a bridge.
A bridge? Come on. I can Taobao will be here in less than a day. So like, yeah, when they're saying like, I can't believe you haven't been to Walmart. Like, why would I go over there? I'll just wait till tomorrow and get my seltzer water or dirt.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for that dirt. And then, yeah, so I just thought that was interesting of like the benefits of a city versus like the ease and convenience. I guess it's a different, speaking of window shopping, it's a different activity to wander around a neighborhood and like see what you see. Because the other day also, last Sunday, we needed paper for our printer. We just ran out of printer paper. And I'm in the midst of a project. So we went down to Computer World before dinner to grab some paper, and then we go to dinner. But then like Computer World closes at 6 on Sunday. So I ordered it online.
Which, yeah, at that point we were like, why didn't we just order it online?
Yeah.
We took a chance because you want to wander around. But we like shopping in that sense of like supporting our local place.
Yeah,
but
and like
at some point it just becomes difficult.
Yeah. Like, what am I going to keep going to Computer World when it's closed? I'll just order it online. And this assuages my conscience. I think ordering stuff airshipped from the United States is not environmentally friendly in any way, but there is some debate over whether ordering from a store, ordering online locally versus going to a store and buying stuff, which one has the bigger footprint. It's inconclusive.
Great.
This complicated world is hard to navigate.
In these trying times. Yeah. So
as long as we're not ordering Parmesan cheese from Hollis, Queens, which I did by accident. I didn't realize it was coming all the way from there.
But as it stands, we've got a big pile of empty boxes right now, ready to go out to be recycled.
Yeah. One of them might actually turn into a part of the garden.
See? Talk about recycling.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of reuse.
Another one was part of a prop for an upcoming project. Stay tuned later this week.
Oh yeah. I feel like such a kindergarten teacher. I make so much stuff out of cardboard. But let's play
what?
A game.
But is this the game where we talk about Chinese phrases that are important for you to learn?
Yeah.
But might not make a lot of sense to me.
Actual lessons and actual textbooks. Today's theme is
great.
I forgot.
It's a great theme. It's a wonderful.
A great theme. Oh, it's not.
It's going to be a wonderful theme.
Not bragging.
You're not bragging about the theme?
Are not bragging.
Oh, it's about not bragging.
Well, I mean, it is not bragging. So the first sentence is 我爸爸没去过中国, which is my father has never been to China, or hasn't been to China.
Hasn't been to China.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not true in my case. My dad has been to China.
But I can say
so
that.
Now I'm bragging in English, but in Chinese we're not bragging.
Humble brag.
Yeah.
So it'd be the only real strange part here is that it's the father.
Yeah.
So like if you were to come here and you like let's say met like whoever your minder was, a teacher, boss or somebody, and they said like, well, welcome, it's wonderful that you'd be like, has your father been here?
Yeah, like why is that the question we're asking?
I mean, I don't really give a shit about your mom if she's come.
Yeah.
Or if your sisters or your brothers.
Or if
but
you
your
just
father.
walk into a room and start the conversation with, my dad has not been to China, so react accordingly.
Yeah, what would you expect?
Comport yourself accordingly.
How would you expect a room full of people to act to that? Should they straighten up, sit right?
I mean, they should just start immediately writing letters to your dad, telling him why he should come to China.
Everyone breaks out their phone.
Yeah.
Mr. Hume.
My dad has not been to China. Here's his WeChat address. Send him some messages.
Let's put that up on the screen for your dad.
Yeah.
And even though he's been there, so he can, because he's having a hard time, right, during the COVIDs. He's a very social guy.
He's a social guy. I don't
so he
think
would
he
love
likes
to
stay
get
inside.
Tons of messages from people from all over the world.
I'm sure.
Just keep him
Internet
busy.
strangers, please spam my dad.
You should come to China. I've been to China.
Yeah. That's not going to happen.
Sorry, world.
I mean, it has actually come up when people in casual chats, oh, has your family been? Usually in the context of like because this comes up very quickly. So when were you last home? Because most foreigners, and again, not just foreigners in China, but I think most foreigners, a lot of foreigners all over the world, from wealthier tax brackets, go home like once every 6 months. Mm-hmm. That's not the case for everybody who lives abroad. But it is true for richer people. And we just don't go back home. Not because we couldn't afford to.
Because it's on fire.
Well, but before it was on fire. We kind of just wanted to spend our money on different travel.
Yeah.
Sorry, family, but we saw you for a long time.
Yeah. And we know your dad has said many times he wants to come back. So
yeah, I'd like them to come
He's very
back.
popular here in China.
I'd like my sisters to come back, but they both have small babies or babies on the way, so that's
everyone
not
loves your
happening
dad
soon.
here. He's like 7 feet tall and like an alabaster Godzilla with a beard.
We get a lot of pictures taken of us, like, just
normally,
day to day, but he, like, people would call their friends from across the room to, like, come take pictures.
He's like Santa the basketball player. People were just like, yes, we gotta
NBA
have pictures.
But it does come up, like, when we say we haven't been home, like, oh, what about your family? And my family has come. Some of them have, so I can say which ones have come and which ones.
So
have
how
not.
would you say that to counteract your phrase? Can you put it together that quickly, or not?
爸爸去过中国.
So there we go.
Yeah, my dad has come to China.
There we go. Solved.
Done. Number 2. Where is number 2?
Number 2 is
我的书房在那边，但是没有家具, which is my den is over there.
my den.
My den, my book room, my library,
Wow.
my personal library is over there, but it doesn't have furniture.
Oh.
So then what makes it a den?
Okay, so you go right straight to books or TVs. It's a relaxing place.
书房 is book room, literally.
So that maybe it's from an older phrase to use. My den.
Yeah.
My den.
No, that's not the same.
But so you go straight to books, but are there books? If there's no furniture, are we talking like there's no bookshelves?
I mean, I guess no furniture doesn't mean no books, so we could know
just
it's
be a
the book room. There's just piles of books.
It's like Burgess
everywhere.
Meredith in Twilight Zone is sitting in a pile of books.
I've lived that way sometimes. I've had piles of books and not enough bookshelves.
If it was books, you would think it's probably like a professor or somebody very academic.
Yeah.
But it could also be somebody who's a little bourgeois and wannabe posh that wants to have like it's a TV room that they call their den. And it could be just to be a TV with no, like it's just a beanbag chair.
Yeah, I mean, would den imply, in English, den implies like a book office? Like, I feel like maybe 40 years ago, like dad in his den would like,
right. I think
go
that's
smoke a pipe there and you're
right.
not allowed to talk to him or something.
It comes from,
again, not my dad.
it must come from like those English people out there could probably tell us of like, in Britain, you think of
you have a drawing room,
and a den, and like which must come from like the fox den or something like that. So that's like your man cave, your cubby hole or something.
Yeah.
So you think of naga hide and red leather.
Yeah.
Red leather.
Yeah, because there's also in Chinese, 客厅 is like your guest room where you'd receive guests. So I guess in English we maybe also have the distinction of maybe a den is for the family, and the guest room, the living room is, or the drawing room.
Well, that feels like a 70s
viewing room. I don't know.
60s into 70s thing. Like maybe when you're taking that dad's room.
Yeah.
And you don't the living room is for guests.
For everyone to hang out.
Or for guests.
But
for everyone to hang out and watch TV is more of your den, your family room. And at some point, den, family room in America.
Yeah, I guess if you have a big enough house, maybe you do have a room that's like not really for guests, but where you hang out and do some heavy duty work or reading.
Which is
I definitely need a whole room to do my reading in. I
read
said
like this.
that like sarcastically, but I desperately want that.
Well, that's the interesting part to me, knowing Chinese apartments on a regular. The average apartment there is like a very centered family room because there's so much family that, especially in our area.
Where you do the housekeeping of like, if people stop by, I can put them in this room, and I don't have to clean this room because this is just for family. Kind of, like, or like the best furniture is in the guest receiving room.
Right, but you have like your main living room is a place where the kids have all their toys all spread out for however many kids you have. Grandma and grandpa are sitting there.
All rooms are the kids' room.
Well, yeah, they're always going to take it over. But grandma and grandpa are there, and maybe some aunts and uncles, and like, I mean, this is just on the holidays, really, but like that's where you center in the living room. So to be able to say, I have a den, a separate room, like, where I don't let grandpa in, or the kids are not allowed, because that's where you keep all your guns. I think it's in America.
All your guns, but that's not called the book room unless it's ironic.
You have like one of those like Punisher. Like the bookcase pulls away and it's all guns.
Then we're fancy pants.
Or
fancy
Republican.
Pants and violent. Do Republicans have books?
Oh!
Well, in my mind, using all these different terminologies for non-bedroom, non-kitchen, non-bathroom rooms where you may or may not receive company, I have like Jane Austen in mind, or like Victorian England, of like where there's very many protocols in place for like how a place should look and how you should receive guests and when you would receive guests, because America does not have that kind of. I mean, I think informally you might have a room that you keep neater than other rooms where you would if guests drop by.
My thought is, especially with the den, is it is one of those like man-centric ideas, because women weren't allowed to read at one point, and then it was like dad's
American
office.
women always were allowed to read.
Well, no, but I mean,
unless they were slaves. Slaves were not
through the
to
centuries. I mean, and then it becomes like dad's office, and the kids aren't allowed in there, and then like that sort of expands when we have less and less need for dad. But eventually, that came back around to man cave.
Well, yeah, reactionary men who felt under threat.
Right.
Were like, I need a man cave. Like, you already own the whole house, you
But
jerk.
it's spread out into like, let's make it a den, a family area where we put in the couch, and that's where the kids can jump up and down and watch cartoons.
Well, here's something
Dad
though
can
that
lay down
I'm
and watch
curious,
TV.
because like there's like that codified that I've read about in ancient books, not ancient books, 200-year-old books of like how England was.
Where did you get your hands on ancient?
That's from my book room.
Nice.
And then America is always less formal than England, but China itself has a different conception of the public versus private spheres. Which, if you know, and if you're a Chinese scholar or Chinese yourself, if you want to speak to this in the comments, I'd be really interested. Of like the idea of the public sphere and the private sphere is actually a very European idea from like the 1800s, and so there is maybe less of a like even among the family members, like this is my room and my room alone, and nobody else gets to come in here. Like
even right down to your dinner plate of like.
Yeah, nobody gets their own dinner plate. We all have this communal meal together, and you know, it's not better or worse. It's just different.
Right.
But like where I notice it is that people before the pandemic, generally, I need much more personal space when I'm out than the local people do. Now everybody's still distancing because we're still being careful. But so that idea of like you'd need a man cave, I don't know, is a Chinese idea. I mean, but if you are a scholar, you'd still have a book room.
Right. Like, I mean, here's our bookcase. Yeah. We have a few more books spread out.
A bookcase.
A bookcase with a bunch of my toys and my gadgets on it. So, and this behind me, and
that's the man cave.
That's the man cave
under the bunk bed.
Because it is our office that we share. Yeah. This is where our main computer is, where we do our bunch of work. This is the office, but I need a backdrop for the thing, and I need a place to put my toys.
Yeah.
So that's what that becomes. At what point does that spread out to a room? I mean, like I've said, like I think last week, that like I used to have a whole room that was filled with toys of some kind. Like that's the dream, to just have like a den, a fun room.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't feel like there's spaces in this apartment where either of us feels shut out.
Right. Well,
but we also don't have like, only one of us can go in a certain space because our apartment's just not big enough.
Right, and that's kind of apartment living too, which is apartment living is very Chinese living. You have to either be out in the farmland or have like some serious cash to have a real good spread.
Yeah. So we got really stuck on the den part, but the part of the
story
that was hilarious to me is that there's no furniture.
Oh.
Why don't you have any furniture? Are you giving someone a tour of an apartment you just moved into?
And I think
Are you a poor student?
When you say that, the levels of like, is it just one plastic chair in the middle of an empty room, or is it absolutely nothing? Because then it would just kind of seem like, well, we call this the den, but like we haven't. What would happen if it wasn't just an empty room is that's where all your Taobao boxes are going to just end up and they're empty.
Yeah.
But
because here in America, here in China, student life isn't the same as student life where we're from. Like the kids still live like 6 to a dorm. I don't think you have like 5 kids rent a house together and like it just has a ping pong table for beer pong and nothing else.
Some of the big cities, I kind of feel like I've seen stories or movies that
younger people in China live that way.
Possibly, maybe just past college. But like again, like big city, like Beijing, kind of like stuff where there's there's like a punk band or something that lives together. I'm going off from YouTube videos I've seen of punk bands living together. This is my level of knowledge.
You know, punk bands represent all of society. But so you have slightly different. My take would be a dude bro, like, this is a den, there's no furniture. We make it into a mudslide foam room on the weekends.
Yeah, my first thought was a bunch of dirty dudes that were just like, we call this the den, but this is where we practice.
Well, I did interview the Higher brothers, humble brag, and they showed me their apartment via WeChat video. And they had room. They could have put the beds. They could have had more rooms, but they put all the rooms in the beds in the smallest room, and they just like slept bunk bed style. And then they had like the video game consoles over here, the recording studio over here.
So that's kind of a den.
Yeah, so that's kind of...
If you'd ever wondered what the Higher Brothers den looks like, Emily has given us the information. Don't say we don't have hot breaking news.
As a bunch of 30-year-old-ish kind of bachelors, they all had girlfriends, but because I think...
All the bands, if you have any kind of like touring mechanism, record label mechanism here, has to have like a mobile unit of the group. You keep the group, all those K-pop bands and stuff.
Pre-family. Oh well, yeah, that's a whole different.
Yeah, that's industry standards.
I'm saying there's an apartment full of dudes in Chengdu that's just full of PS4s or whatever the latest one is. So I mean, but they did have furniture. They didn't not have furniture.
So they wouldn't be able to say.
They needed a place to sit to play PS4 and record their music, of course.
They're very busy. Yeah, humble brag.
Okay, you want to do number 3?
Yeah, what else we got on the world of words?
对不起，我在听录音呢，没听见。Which might mean Sorry. I'm listening to a tape. I didn't hear you. And the word is tape, but it also means like sound recording. It does not mean specifically music, but it means you got your headphones on is what you mean.
Oh, okay.
I'm listening to something. I didn't hear you.
So in the translation, the tape part doesn't really
It's an older textbook, so it did use the word tape or record, I think that could
Right,
be.
so if somebody was like saying like, hey, did you hear the new Tekashi 6ix9ine record?
Yeah.
You would go like,
Yeah.
I'm listening to it right now on my
Well, I think
phone
you'd use a
or-
more modern word of like my phone or my iPod or whatever.
So
You'd use a more specific word, but this word just means like a sound recording.
Right. Particularly with like headphones. I didn't hear you. Go over I'm a little lost as to what is it?
So yeah, I'm sorry. It's this gesture. I'm listening to something. I didn't hear what you said.
So gestures are in your books of how to learn Chinese.
No, but as a language person who's invested in meaning, when you say that sentence, it's the same thing as you mean as
Aha. Gotcha.
I'm listening. I was listening to something. I didn't hear you. And there's just an issue of antiquated vocabulary because we
Which is
wouldn't
it-
say I'm listening to a record.
Which is particularly interesting in generational, not just Chinese, but anywhere.
Yeah.
Because this, to me, even as a kid, like, I mean, I don't. When did headphones start to be a thing? I remember, like,
I think pretty early on.
like I remember just from like TV and stuff, like as a '70s thing, you'd have the big cans on
Yeah.
as a kid in your bedroom, rocking out.
Oh, you
but
meant
then,
as like a consumer good? I think headphones were invented pretty quickly.
no, I mean like in the home, because then I'm thinking like
that kids would go around with headphones on.
for my generation, it was the Walkman,
Yeah.
and so the kid is always what and
Well, and
By that-
the headphones you're wearing are visible,
Right.
whereas earbuds aren't quite so visible.
right.
People talk to me I wear earbuds when I'm working out, and people talk to me all the time.
Right. My point being though that like it was a kid's thing. Like adults didn't walk around wearing headphones.
Yeah, because they were like, "You're disrespecting me."
Yeah.
By not being ready for me to talk to you at any moment.
So this phrase was definitely in the past was an absolute, and I think a lot of people still think that's rude. I
Yeah.
do find it like a little like off-putting if like you said something to somebody because you thought they were in the room or in line in front of you or whatever, and you're just like, could you stop stepping on my foot? And they're like, you're like, fuck you. You can't help but not feel that. But at the same time, like I wear headphones too, so like I would be in public, like
Yeah.
please leave me alone. I'm on the bus. Could I sit down next to you? Oh what?
That's a part of city life, I think, too. Of like, if I'm out in the world, I kind of need to like make my own space, and part of that is sonic space. I'm gonna put headphones on.
Yep.
I'm sorry if I'm not available anytime you think you need to speak to me.
Right. You're in the elevator.
Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Humble brag.
Yeah, I don't think that's a humble brag.
Oh well. But yeah, in fact, Alex Absolute out there just commented recently on one of our videos about the same exact thing, that's his time on the bus on the way to work. You
Yeah.
got a nice little jaunt of time because he's like he has 2 kids. He's going to work with a bunch of kids. Like that's a
And
quiet
sometimes
time.
you need to not listen to kids.
Yeah. So just a few minutes on the bus, whether it's a busy bus or not. I mean, that was definitely in New York on the subway. As insane as the subway would be at rush hour, like that, all you really
I
can
feel
live
like
for
how
is
you
just
cope is you just like seal yourself in your little pod.
yeah.
And
that's just
I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. I think that's
And that's just become more and more normal. Where
Yeah.
it used to be a thing, like I mean, to get scolded as a kid of like turn your Walkman off.
yeah.
Like that was like darn close to being some kind of like moral sin.
Yeah.
To now it's just like normal where you're either like you
I
you
don't
either
mind.
live with it or it's fine.
The kids are all right.
The kids are generation. I don't know if we solved that or not.
I don't think so, but
You can never really solve. some of
I
these
think we're on
things.
the side of headphones.
I like headphones.
Yeah. So let's go to number 4.
All right.
我没有男朋友，我喜欢上网。
You can move that microphone just a little bit back there, and then give me the English of what that is.
I don't have a boyfriend. I like surfing the internet. Which there is no logic connecting these sentences, so it might, you might be explaining more about yourself than you think that you are by putting those two sentences together,
right?
Or you're just totally a non sequitur, like, hi, I'm Emily. I don't like fish. I don't have a boyfriend. I like surfing on the internet. I like making hot dogs.
My dad has never been to China.
Yeah. I'm not really sure why those two sentences got put together, and they were.
Well, being the fact that like it is a very personal thing to be served, that's can be a social thing, but it's also kind of like sitting in an empty room with no furniture and a book.
This
but
is not bragging, not bragging, but I think it's like introverts unite. I don't have furniture. I just sit at home reading books, listening to music with headphones, and surfing the internet. And my dad didn't come to China.
But if you have what's online, I mean, you could be doing anything online. You could be being social online.
That's true. Some people are.
Right. So what you're saying of like, it says a lot about you in that phrase.
I don't have a boyfriend. I have many boyfriends online.
Yeah. It kind of spreads it almost too far out. It says a lot about you without being specific about anything. So that leaves me a lot of speculation as to what kind of person you are.
I see. Because I had interpreted as a kind of like otaku, like internet nerd, like I spend all my time online, so I don't have any friends and I don't have an internet. But yeah, now in the age of social media, again, this textbook was old.
How old do you think it is?
I don't know.
Like 90s, 2000s?
Yeah, it could be 90s.
Wow.
Could be 90s. Different textbook, but.
So it definitely would have meant something more of like, I just read articles from my
But in the age
band.
of social media, it could mean that you have multiple online good friends.
Right, and you could be hanging out with a room full of all of your physical friends.
Yeah.
And talking to them on your phone.
That's
at the
true.
Same
It's really changed a lot. Or you could be hanging out with your physical friends, showing them stuff on the internet. Like those two domains aren't separate anymore at all.
Which, as the way you say you put this together as a
nerd.
Well,
otaku is what I said.
But I mean, all of these questions that you've put together as a theme of being.
Oh yeah, that I said is not if you want to be like humble and not brag about yourself.
Right. It's interesting that you put them all together from a textbook that could be 10, 20 years old.
Different textbooks.
And how that translates into how the world has changed today and culturally, different countries internationally. The world, it can mean absolutely like a completely different thing.
Online is a lifestyle.
It is. How the world has moved in different directions, how you react socially with people.
I mean, I guess we're online right now. I mean, not in our right now, but in your right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whoa, I just blew my mind.
Whoa, totally. That's crazy, man. It's like, this is like the Joe Rogan experience. Like a couple of bimbos sitting around talking about blowing our minds.
Yeah, and exercising.
And exercising.
He's like a big...
He's a big...
Taekwondo.
He's one of those wrestling guys.
Things. Oh, okay.
Those fight wrestles.
The UFC?
Yeah.
The punchy wrestling?
Yeah.
Punchy wrestling.
Punchy wrestling and getting stoned and then being like the world's philosopher for some reason.
Yeah.
I got 1,600 pounds of elk in my freezer, man. I'm ready for anything.
I'm so into it. Joe Rogan is my internet boyfriend.
Peace. Joe Rogan forever. R.I.P.
I don't know if I don't want you to start that rumor or if I do want you to start that rumor.
That's a Fantano joke.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not my joke.
About Joe Rogan specifically?
Yeah.
This is boring. Let's not talk about
other get the hell out of here. Stop talking about...
看来生活水平是提高了，白给的东西都不要了。Which means, it looks like the standard of living has increased if people don't want free stuff anymore. Which
wow, there's a lot packed into that sentence.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nobody doesn't want free stuff. Rich people want free stuff. Poor people want free stuff.
On the huge level.
Hipsters want free stuff.
on the huge level,
nerds want free stuff.
If you're selling a company,
that's
like
why
you're
free
going to
gift with purchase is still a thing.
Yeah, you're going to want, if you're a huge company, a huge corporation, you're going to want those like subsidiary, like we own like Wendy's also, and whatever store in the mall or something. But also, if you're just going to the grocery store, I want that free bucket that comes every holiday.
Yeah.
You buy a Ojo soap or whatever that is.
Yeah.
And it comes with a bucket.
Yeah. So
and
I
everyone
in
line has a bucket.
Of this
it's not just us.
Yeah.
Everyone in the grocery store
gets
has
free
the
bucket. Yeah.
That's the best thing in the world.
Yeah. So
or the free Kleenexes.
I mean, I guess you could make... But the sentence doesn't say they don't need charity. It's specifically, they don't want the stuff that you give for free.
I didn't even think of the charity aspect of it.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to think of how would that indicate that the standard of living has risen. But yeah, no, I just totally dispute the premise of this sentence. I think you're incorrect.
Well, okay, so who is this person? Is this like a real lefty Bernie kind of guy that maybe is like looking to like on a positive bent of the world of like...
No, because everyone should get free college is what he's saying. That society owes it to its members to educate everyone for free. That has nothing to do with what your standard of living is. It's a human right to have education and health care. It has nothing to do with how much money you have.
So even if you were poor, you should still get free stuff.
Yeah. Even if you're rich, you should still get free stuff.
Everyone should get free stuff.
Although, we should take some of your money.
Yeah.
I don't. This does not have anything to do with socialism. That's a whole different calculation.
It's strange that my mind went straight to socialism.
Yeah. Socialism isn't free stuff. It's about society providing.
That's my whole theory in life, is getting free money back.
I know, you're not very good at money. I'm not either, but not for the same reason.
Give me that free cash.
I want the expensive stuff. That's my problem.
So if you
I guess you could argue, if we're talking overall standard of living, that if society can provide these things, then the standard of living has arisen.
Okay.
But then you still want the things. You still want education and healthcare.
So the core
and housing.
The core of what I'm trying to get at is, who is the person that would say this? If that person even exists, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a judgmental person who's like, it's tacky to take free stuff.
Is this the kind of person that would write a textbook in
Maybe.
1998?
Maybe. No, this is actually from an online podcast, so it's like from at least the past 10 years. It's from the judgmental one that I listen to, has all kinds of stuff to say about unmarried women being unlucky.
Interesting. So now we're getting to the core.
No, I mean, the only way
Let's call out who's that host, and let's cast shade.
Everybody.
That's how we get views.
Likes free stuff, I think. If you don't like free stuff, let us know in the comments. But I can see there being people who are like, ugh, it's so tacky to get the free stuff.
I like free stuff, but I also am a little suspicious. I usually consider it's probably crap. If it turns out to be cool, then that's fine. I also might think if it comes in the mail, it might be a bomb. So I.
Well, we got some stuff in the mail that was free. And
we always get a free spoon.
Was not mail.
No matter what we get from Taobao, there's a free spoon coming with it.
I ordered some seeds, and then I got some free gift seeds. I'm not gonna not plant them.
Yeah, right.
Because it's tacky.
Unless they're all bombs. Hundreds of little bombs on your
seeds
shelf.
are kind of little bombs.
Yeah.
They're like...
Nature's bomb grows.
They're nature's bomb. Stick it in the ground, and then all of a sudden there's an explosion of life.
Next week on Joe Rogan.
Noodles to you.
Picking, choosing, a chicken for chopping, two tickets for shopping. Designate a flavor, a texture, a color, a contrast, a party, alright. Everyone stroke that blade, castigate, all in the queue for a barbecue. Season, a flavor, a fire, a favor, Sichuan in nature, peppercorn.